afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our BCS Hertfordshire webinar, Kickstart Your Tech Career. I am Pallavi, the Early Careers Advocate for the BCS Hertfordshire branch, and I will be your host for today. And this session is actually designed for the students and for the career changers who want a clear and realistic picture of how to start and grow in the tech industry. So today we will hear from two strong voices, one from academic background and one from the IT industry background, to give you both sides of what early career success actually looks like. Let's get into straight into that. So I just want to give an introduction about the first speaker. So our first speaker is Dr. Paul Moggridge. He is actually a lecturer in data science and software development at University of Hertfordshire. His work focuses on AI and unsupervised learning, and he is passionate about helping the next generation build strong foundations in tech. Paul, over to you.
Thanks, Pallavi, and thank you for this opportunity to talk today about this. So in the next 20 minutes, I'll try to keep it to 20 minutes. I've noted the time. I'll share my story into academia. I'll share the lessons I've learned along the way, and sometimes I've learnt those lessons the hard way by making mistakes. So I'll let you know what those were, and lastly, I'll touch on how BCS membership can be beneficial to you as a professional. So I hope this talk will be, encouraging for the students you mentioned and those sort of starting their career, thinking about going into academia. Hopefully this will be useful for you. So, so I'll start with my. I don't have any slides today. I'm just gonna talk. I think I'll start with my story and. I, of course, was born here in Hertfordshire, and I went to North Hertfordshire College in Stevenage, and I studied a level 3 qualification, IT for practitioners, extended BTEC. So I come out of school with only with modest performance, and went into college, and that was quite a practical course that gave me a good amount of practical skills. And then from there, I went to the University of Hertfordshire and did my undergraduate degree, BSc honours in computer science, specialising in artificial intelligence. Then, and I'm imagining a lot of you in this call today will be in that kind of situation. You've come through university. You maybe just got your undergraduate or postgraduate degree, or maybe you've got some work experience. So from that point there, that's the next thing. Next step for me was doing a self-funded part-time PhD alongside doing part-time lecturing and alongside a knowledge transfer partnership, a full-time job, which I'll explain more about that later. And then eventually that my full-time job ended, and then that was luckily replaced. That was replaced by a full-time lecturing role, and then quite recently, within the last few months, I've completed my PhD, and obviously now working full-time as a lecturer still, and they're looking forward to a career in academia. So so I suppose today I'm going to dive into the second half of that story, the part that you might be able to, the second half that you might be able to replicate, um, so and do much better than I've done, and so I'll dive deeper into that. So in my route into academia, I had a massive degree of luck. I think a lot of it boils down to having a good relationships with some of the academics. That I forged these relationships through my undergraduate degree, and through doing extracurricular activities, and just generally saying yes and being open to doing extra projects, and talking to people, and just showing that interest. So I think I've had a massive degree of luck, and I'm not going to deny that through this talk. So once what not everyone may realize is that once you have your undergraduate degree, you can apply to do a master's by research or a PhD. So you don't necessarily need to have that postgraduate taught qualification, not necessarily. So if you like for myself, for example, I only had that undergraduate degree, Bachelor of Science in computer science, specializing in AI. But the problem is with that alone, my odds of getting a scholarship were basically zero. So there's a no hope in that sense. So what most people do, and I know some of the people on this call have done this or are just finishing doing this. They'll of course go and do an MSc, and they'll put themselves on that higher level, and then that'll improve their chance of securing a scholarship. But even with that, scholarships are still very, very competitive at getting a PhD scholarship. So a way around that, which is what I did, is self-funding. So if you self-fund, you're then not trying to compete for a scholarship. So you're getting yourself past that hurdle. So and the other thing that I did that was a little bit unusual, unconventional, is I did a part-time PhD. So this has the advantage that it's much cheaper than doing a full-time PhD, and you get much longer deadlines as well. So you get pretty much on most of the deadlines you get double the amount of time, and it's much cheaper to do it part-time. So this is quite a big advantage. But here's the difficult part. Of course, to self-fund, you're going to need to have a full-time job to be able to fund that, assuming you're not robbing banks. You're going to need a full-time job to be able to pay for this, even with it being cheaper. But of course, if you've got a full-time job, then you don't really have time to study. So it's kind of like a very difficult kind of situation. So it's not an easy path at all, and it's not for everyone. Um, but yeah, this is the path that I did, and there's a few things that made it easier for me, and again, places where I've had good fortune and just decisions, um, decisions that I was guided on, that helped me get into academia. So I think a lot of the I've received a lot of good advice from the academics who I'd forged relationships with during my undergraduate degree, and yeah, and through following their advice, I took this route, and it's proved to be doable. Not easy, but a doable approach. So so if you can find a full-time university job, then universities often give heavy discounts on their PhD programs to their own staff or to any study. So, for example, a £4,000 a year part-time PhD could be as cheap as £2,000 per year to do a part-time PhD if you're a university member of staff. So then the question is, can you find a job where you're employed by the university? Now, if I just paste into the chat here, I'll paste the type of job that I got. So I'm just going to paste this link here into the chat. So this is I got I secured a KTP role. So this is a knowledge transfer partnership associate role, and this is a job that is essentially sponsored by the government. So the government give the university, I think, a certain amount of money, and a company, a small to medium enterprise, gives the university some money as well, and then the university pays yourself as the KTP associate to go and work in the company. So you can think it's kind of like what's the word for it? Sort of like outsourcing the skills. So the company is outsourcing the skills it needs to you, a university member of staff. These roles are great because they're kind of research adjacent. So you're going to be going into a business to do some sort of research type project. You're going to have a generous personal a generous budget for personal development, and generally the pay is quite good. If you look through the jobs there, the pay is certainly more than the UK average in most cases. So yeah, so technically you're going to be working for the university, so this means you might qualify for a staff discount, which then means that you know, it'll be quite affordable for you, given the good pay and the discount, for you to do a part-time PhD. So so from yeah, so from your I mean, if you can try and get a KTP project that's aligned with what that you want, what roughly, obviously it's kind of very difficult, but maybe it's probably the other way around. If you could try and find a KTP that you'd be interested in doing research on, or at least if you can align your PhD to suit your KTP role, if you get these things to have some sort of synergy, then that'll make your life a little bit easier, and that's what I did. So I had a KTP role, building a chatbot that was powered by data mining. And now this seems all very dated now, because obviously now with generative AI, the kind of technology that I was using there was is now kind of, there'll be better ways of implementing some of what I did. But yeah, I had this alignment between my PhD and between work. They were roughly in the same topic area, so this gave me um, some ability to economize my time. And the great thing about doing a KTP is that you have lecturers supporting you from the university. So you're out in the company, working in the company, and you'll have two or three lecturers who are visiting you on a regular basis, supervising your project. So these people, in my case as well, very, very luckily, were also my PhD supervisor. So they were both effectively my university contact, and also my supervisor for my PhD. So this was great for everyone involved. It meant that you know, we could essentially do the PhD supervision and the KTP supervision at the same time. So it was very efficient for my supervisor, and it was of course efficient for me. Um, so yes, this was I think this worked really, really well. So if you can take this route, it's a kind of an unusual, not, you know, very talked about route, but I think it's a good way to get into academia. Of course, you don't need to get a KTP role. You could find a different role at the university. But I'm going to advertise the KTP role because I think this is most research focused, and you know, what you should, I think, you know, most aligned with what you've been working towards. So yeah, so now moving on to my lessons along the way. Just look at the time there. So obviously that's not enough time. So lessons learned. So I think a really, really important thing that's helped me a lot is good independent study skill. So personally, I find I'm doing what I call like passion projects, sort of building, fixing, tinkering with things um, outside of my courses, but related to my courses. I found this to be super beneficial all of the way through my study, right from when I was at college. I've always done extra projects where I've built games, or I've built little tools, or I've been fixing and building things. I think doing these things that are related to your study can really, really help you learn. And you know, there's only so much that can be taught within a classroom and within practicals. And I think trying to apply the skills that you're learning in your course straight away, or in any learning that you're doing, or even in work, indeed, even when I've been at work, um, trying to play with things independently, I think is, you know, a really important skill, helps build your learning. Um, so one mistake I've made along my journey, and that I think you can learn from, is sometimes I wish I would have said yes, or would have joined certain things. There's one particular case with a club here at the university called Robo Cup, and I've just quickly looked through the people here. Is my friend who might have possibly have joined? No, he hasn't joined today. But he went off and he joined the Robo Cup, and he learnt a lot of programming skills, and that was an extra sort of curricular thing he did that I decided to say no to. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then towards the every day since saying no, I've then gone ahead and regretted that decision, and now he's a much better programmer than me. And but yeah, so my point is, be a willing horse. Try to say yes. Get involved and volunteer with clubs and you know, committees and anything really. Um, I think this will really help your learning. And bear in mind, there's no such thing as a right time. That's a real big piece of wisdom that someone else told me. And there's no such thing as a right time in life. If you wait for your life to be quiet, it never will be quiet. There'll always be something happening. Just now, my wife come in and just took the baby who just woke up out of the room. Yeah. So like I finished my PhD whilst having two young kids in the. So yeah, if you must kind of try to navigate. I think the thing to bear in mind is Hofstadter's law. If you've ever heard of this, it always takes longer than you expect, even when you take Hofstadter's law into account. So just so I think, I mean, sometimes I think I have a tendency to say yes too much, even though that time I said no. But yeah, try and balance. Try to say yes as much as you can, whilst being realistic about your time, how much time you have. Um, So yeah, I think part-time study with full-time work is really, really hard. So I have so much respect for all of my students that do that. Um, but with an understanding supervisor, I had a really kind and understanding supervisor. I was able to navigate, starting a family whilst finishing my PhD, whilst working full time. So if you so I was very lucky. Another mistake is that it took me many years to finish my PhD doing it part-time, and that's not necessarily um, down to the method. I think this is more down to my poor prioritization and poor communication. So I would really advise a lesson to learn early on is that communication and prioritization are really key um, to managing part-time study with full-time work. Everyone around you needs to know your deadlines so that they can be kind at the right times, and so they know that, okay, you're going to be putting a lot of time in on these weeks. That's running on the run up to a big deadline. You need to, this way, work, family, friends can understand that you're not going to be so available. And the other thing I think is you need to moderate your drive for perfection. Sometimes done is better than perfect. And often I believe that sometimes when you start, even when you're tired in the evening and you say, okay, it's like 9 o'clock at night, but sometimes when you start work, once you get started, you start enjoying it, and you actually end up doing some work, so some useful stuff. Another lesson to learn, I think, is befriending your academics. It's a really good thing. Academics love helping people. That's really why they're in the job. That's what keeps them in the job. Because life out in industry, as they often say, is might yield a better workload to money ratio. So I think the thing that really keeps academics in the job is they love helping people. So do email them, ask for to talk to them, and them. I think that's a good thing to do. Of course, I think that maybe one thing I should probably mention is I think being lucky helps. I'd feel bad, talking about my um, journey without probably mentioning this. Of course, I've been born in Hertfordshire, and I've been so lucky to meet so many kind people, so many wonderful tutors and friends, and so I think that I have so much respect for people who are trying to make it coming from wonderful backgrounds, but those that have less opportunity than I did. Um, so I think maybe the key message there is to be kind for yourself. So I see so many of my students, work so hard searching for a job, and then they get a lot of rejection, and it's not their fault. And especially these days with huge numbers of people applying for opportunities. Um, So when you do get an opportunity, when do get a successful application, you get to the interview stage, I think preparation is really important. So something I've always taken very seriously, and I think preparation is key. Bring thoughtful things to demonstrate. It's always good to show, not tell, in if you can. So yeah, moving on to building a strong foundation in tech. Just looking at the time, just 2 more minutes. Um, So I think learn the bread and butter skills in computer science. These things are in short supply. Do the simple things really, really well. This will keep you adaptable and ready to learn the higher specialist and trendy skills that you'll come across at work and university. If you can do Linux administration, you can work on the terminal, you can do programming, you can do Git, you can do some basic databases, you understand generally how to fix and build and repair computers, just general good IT administration skills, basic understanding of networking. These kinds of things will really help you, kind of bread and butter skills that will really help you, fit whatever you need to be, whoever you need to be, for whatever job it is you're going for. So yeah, I think really the key thing is I have a massive pile. You can't see them, but next to my desk here, I have a pile of old computers, and I love playing with Linux and programming, and I think just doing that will really help you bring up with these skills. So just recommend having some projects and grab an old computer, install Ubuntu on it, play with it, build some software for it, and just have some fun. I think you'll learn a lot that way. So lastly, what is most valued in academia? So of course, teaching experience. So I'll put one more link in the chat here. One more link in the chat. Where is the chat? There it is. Yeah, so a key thing if you want to get into higher education is you're going to need some teaching experience before you even start. So where do you get that from? An easy way to get that is to volunteer as a teacher. So you can do STEM ambassadoring. This is where you go into like a secondary school or primary school, and you teach the school children, computer science. You teach them some basic programming. I'm sure everyone here in this call could contribute, could teach at a school, teach some basic maths, and it's a wonderful thing. It doesn't cost you anything, and you'll be doing a good thing. And then you can say you've got some teaching experience, and that will help strengthen your application into an academic role. Of course, to get into academia, you need to do a PhD, and that's what most of my journey has been about. As you can see, they're really only, generally speaking, they only hire people who are either have got a PhD or are studying a PhD. Of course, having past industry experience helps, and if you have some evidence of sort of publications and past software projects, that will help as well. So lastly, yeah, just the BCS can support your continuous learning and professional development. And I've been a member for so many years now, basically ever since I graduated. IT is especially fast-moving field, so it's really important you stay up to date. Being a BCS member can help you with this by doing things like going to events like you're doing right now, joining the committee. So we're always looking for new committee members. Reading the IT Now magazine, which is absolutely fantastic and has a lot of really fantastic industry relevant angles on academic topics. And or you can even publish in IT Now as well. I mean, one day I'd hope to publish in IT Now myself, and as some of my colleagues do, publish very regularly. And yeah, and the other thing, of course, with BCS membership, you get those post-nominals, so MBCS if you're a professional member. And this is useful for asserting your professionalism and getting you in the door for an interview. So that's all I'm going to say today. So yeah, so thanks for your attention through that. Hope it wasn't too boring, and yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul. You gave a very insightful information, so especially for the people who want to start their career in higher, who want to do the PhD and who want to start their career in as a professor. Or this will be very useful for them. So thank you very much once again.
Thanks. You're very welcome. Thank you.
Our second speaker is Kiran Chowdary Uppu, an experienced HR specializing in talent acquisition, business partnering, and growth strategy. He brings a strong industry view on what employers actually look for in early career talent. Hi, Kiran. Uh,
Hey Pallavi, thank you so much. Thanks for
yeah,
your nice
over to
intro
you.
of me.
Thank you so much. No worries.
Okay. Yeah. So let me brief you in short about me.
Could you please share
Pallavi.
the screen?
Yeah. Give me a moment. Let me share the screen. All right. Hope my screen is visible and
Yes.
clear.
Yeah, it is visible and you are good to go. Thank you.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Pallavi. Yeah. Coming back to the topic today, let's understand. It is a kickstarting your career, technical career. and your roadmap to success is what we are going to discuss on. So to be precise, who am I? Kiran Chowdary. I carry over 18 years of IT experience. Predominantly, my experience is into talent acquisition, client acquisition, and talent management. When it comes to talent acquisition, I got an opportunity to hire a lot of resources, professionals for an enterprise clients, particularly for the US market, Canada, and also bits and pieces for the UK market as well. Coming back to client acquisition part, so building strategic partners with the clients and innovative organizations is what I does. And apart from it, one more core strength of mine is talent management, where I got an opportunity to coach a lot of professionals through career transition and growth. So this is in short about me. And coming back to the actual subject, core subject, the current technical landscape. So before, I think like there are a lot of people who actually graduated now and did their masters. They wanted to enter into the IT space. So before hitting the landscape, you have to understand where exactly the opportunities exist. That should be our first thing, that we should be doing. Which industry is evolving rapidly, which industry is creating a lot of opportunities. To be precise, to my understanding and knowledge that I have gathered, and there are close to 3.5 million technical jobs expected globally in the emerging fields that I'm going to mention, out of which 67% of them are remote options. That's a very good advantage. You can work from anywhere from the globe. It is not necessarily that you should be in the UK or US or India or whatsoever it is. And also it is a competitive salary, an average salary is USD 95K for an entry level tech person. I'm giving in USD. So coming back to the areas that should be focused on cloud computing and DevOps, that's one of the major area where we see a lot of requirement and needs in the global market right now. And the other important thing is cyber security. And the most important thing, the third one is, we have been hearing about this skill from past 2-3 years now. There is a lot of things going on, particularly the data science and the AI. And apart from it, full stack development is the other area. When I say full stack, the industry right now is expecting not just a backend developer or a front-end developer. Ideally speaking, they're expecting someone who does both. That's what ideally it is someone full stack development. And apart from it, product development is one another area. And product management is one another area. And UI UX design is one important area where there are a lot of opportunities. They are already created and they are in the market. So if you have to hit the IT landscape, and these are the primary areas. I'm not saying these are, you should be restricting yourself to these areas, but there are a lot of other skill sets, but primarily major jobs lies in this area, whichever I have mentioned right now. Okay, and coming back to, so what exactly you need, what kind of essential skills the companies look at for a resource particularly. So there are 4 things I have to mention. There are a lot many things they look at, but primarily 4 things are 100% required. Technical proficiency, one thing, problem solving, communication, and adaptability. Technical proficiency, as you know, what clients and businesses expect is at least a strong foundation in one programming language. You have to have a very strong core understanding of the concepts and programming skills. That's one important thing, irrespective of which technology you choose, which industry you choose. If you want to be successful and relevant in IT scape, definitely technical proficiency in one of the languages, the expertise level is 100% required. And the other thing is problem solving. So you have to understand, gone are the days where there are projects, and the industries, which there will be, some person doing support and all those stuff. Those are, old days which are gone and dusted. Right now, what industry and the business is expecting is ability to break down complex challenges and develop creative, efficient solutions. not just doing your day-to-day job. That is not enough. That's the basic thing we should be having. But problem-solving skills is something which is definitely required so that you will be relevant in the market. And the other important thing is communication. Communication is not just about the language, but primarily what I mean to say communication is because the stakeholders may not be a technical person. If at all, if you only talk on the technology stuff, definitely they may not understand it. So it's important you need to communicate with them to make them understand, particularly the stakeholders, the non-technical concepts also. You should be able to communicate it properly. That's one important thing that you should be keeping in focus. And the fourth, 100% an important thing is adaptability. Adaptability is something these days from past a few years, the industry is extensively looking. So because when I say, I'll give you a quick example. So what the industry is expecting is someone, who should be like a water. If at all, if it is pour in a glass, it will be in a glass of water. If it is in a bowl, it is a bowl of water. That's what they're looking at. To be precise, so if at all, if you're a Java person, if you say something on the front end side, if you have to do something on it, so industry or the business person are not ready to hire one more person for the front end. You should be able to learn the front end part of it and do something on it. That's what they are not expecting expertise on both the back end and front end, but at least one area you should be expertise, and the other is the minimum basic thing that you need to have. Adaptable to any kind of environment is much more important. You should not be restricted. I have learned 5 years and trained 10 years and all experience carrying 10 years. It is not relevant in this era of an IT sphere because things are rapidly changing. Definitely you have to adaptable according to the needs. There is no restriction. You should not restrict that I only do this technology, that technology. No, those days are gone. We have to be open and we should have that hunger in order to be relevant in the market. No matter which technology it is, if the business needs it, you are there. It may take them in a few days, few months, few years, but definitely, if at all, if you have to be relevant, you should be doing it. So these are the four things that I would like to emphasize on. And apart from it, yeah, how do you actually build all these things? One moment. Yeah, first thing is in order to start on it, definitely you need to start building on which tool you wanted to focus on. It could be front-end language. Yeah, one thing is language that you need to focus on, tools and the framework. As far as the language is concerned, you have to decide what is your primary area that you wanted to choose. Be it the front-end one or the back-end one. If it is back-end, Python, Java, Node, or C#, .NET, or whatsoever it is. And if it is front-end, JavaScript, or TypeScript, or Angular, there are Node.js or React.js, there are multiple things. And apart from it, if at all, if you wanted to enter into space of mobile, there are a lot of things like Kotlin, React Native, React.js, and all this stuff. And apart from this primary programming language, you need to master on essential tools like the version controls, IDEs, and database. Right? Version controls, Git and GitHub is utmost important for anything for that matter. And the database, as you know, either it could be Oracle, SQL, or MongoDB. That is one important area everybody needs to have an understanding. And particularly in the age of cloud platform is something which is mandatory, even though you can belong to any kind of programming. But cloud platform is a must and should. Either you might be having AWS, Azure, or GCP, or whichever it is. Some cloud platform, you should have the tools experience. And also, apart from all these things, if you have to be successful in cracking the interviews or successful in executing the project, you have to learn not just the theory. Building real-time projects is the utmost thing. So when I say real-time projects, I'm not talking about the bigger or enterprise level project, but you have to create some kind of 3 or 5 portfolio project that demonstrate your programming skills, problem solving skills. That is much more important. So I'm sorry, Pallavi, if I am going slow or speed, I mean, please apprise me so that I can handle accordingly.
Yeah, you can continue, Kiran, no problem.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. The other important, area that I wanted to emphasize is in this group, lot many people are looking for opportunities, a good career, and all those things. So according to you, I have a question for the participants. According to you, just let me know, what are the primary things you need to have in order to have a good success in the interview and good job. You can use the chat box.
Yeah, you can use the chat box, participants.
All right. Yeah, I'll continue anyhow. Yeah, here is the thing. So there are a number of people might be competing for the single job. So how you can crack that job, and how you can be visible in the market.
We got
So
one reply, Kiran. So we got one reply from Paul. Be ready to demonstrate your programming skills.
yeah, that's a good one, Paul. Yeah, that's a mandatory thing, and that's the important thing. So like Paul has mentioned, that is one more important thing which is already there. Yeah. And one thing is, in order to be more visible, in order to crack the opportunity, definitely we need to optimize your LinkedIn profile. That's the first and foremost step that you need to do. So what do you mean by optimizing your LinkedIn? So you have to use professional photos, compelling headlines. All these basic things. And apart from it, whatever achievements that you are mentioning and experience that you are mentioning, when it comes to achievements, you have to mention something which is quantifiable, so that it attracts the recruiter or someone who is going through your profile. That's utmost important thing. And the other important thing is for technical people, GitHub is like LinkedIn. So no matter what, you have to have, you should be able to be part of, GitHub discussions, GitHub programming. You should be able to write some kind of codes, and you have to learn. You should be visible there, writing some kind of portfolio on the GitHub. That is utmost important if you have to stay relevant. And apart from it, if you can create a personal website, highlighting your project skills and other things, definitely it is going to be an added advantage. And the fourth important thing is develop and also your narrative should be clear. So you have to be clear, and your story should be authentic. So when I say your story should be authentic, you should be explicitly mentioning from your education, how did you enter, and how you cracked it, or in your education, how did you improve yourself? These are the things every recruiter or the talent acquisition expert look in your profile. Those are the things you need to highlight. That's utmost important thing, so that you will stand out and you'll create your own professional brand. So to be precise, I wanted to highlight 4 to 5 important things which you should be including, which is giving live demos and projects, and code samples is other things, and be active on technical blog posts, and you should be doing certifications. And apart from do list, you should be avoiding few things, which is unprofessional photos, incomplete projects, and generic descriptions and outdated information. Okay, these are the things you need to look at, so that your professional brand is created and you will be standing out in the crowd. And the next important thing is networking strategies, where you'll have an option so that you can enter into the IT space quite fast. As you all know, these days, IT recruitment and hiring, 70% of the positions are filled through networking. Building a genuine connection. So because if at all, if you're having in your LinkedIn connection, over 5,500 or 1,000 connections, it doesn't really matter. What matters is, I mean, what kind of connections you have, what kind of genuine connections you have, and what kind of useful connections you have. If you are into IT and technical part of it, I mean, ideally, you need to have some road, what do you say, I mean, senior piece who carry a similar kind of experience, so that, I mean, it would be helpful for you in order to accelerate your career. That is utmost important thing. And you should be, I mean, very much active on attending the events. There are a lot of events, particularly from BCS Hertfordshire. There are a lot of things. I mean, you should be, as you are, I mean, coding, if at all, if you are entering into the coding area, hackathons are one important thing where you can grab the attention. That's the main thing. I mean, these are the kinds of, I mean, these are not limited to one or two areas, but there are a lot of things, but these are the primary areas where you can be visible. And like I have mentioned to you earlier, I mean, engaging on social platforms is utmost important. In order to be visible, I mean, LinkedIn is one area, and apart from it, for technical people, GitHub is definitely going to be, I mean, useful. That is utmost important thing rather than, I mean, Twitter or LinkedIn. GitHub is for anyone, I mean, for coders, GitHub is something which is going to be definitely useful. Yeah, these are the things, and the rest other things are, I mean, conducting informal interviews, reaching out to, I mean, senior people, like I have mentioned, and also seeking advice from seniors within your area. That is going to remain definitely useful. So ideally, as far as networking is concerned, one in single line, what I can mention you is your network is your network. In technology, who you know often determines which doors open first. And that's what ideally you need to look into. So coming back to one month. So where exactly we need to start? Okay. So there are a lot of opportunities, particularly in the social platforms and also LinkedIn in specific, Indeeds and all those things. So what you should be doing is, you should not be, I mean, randomly applying for each and every job. I mean, it won't be helpful for anyone. It is going to be waste of your time, and also the recruiters are employers' time. So ideally, what you need to be doing is identify, first and foremost thing, what you should be doing is you should identify the targeted companies. That's utmost important thing. So research on that one, let's say example, take some 30 companies or 50 companies, and you should target the roles and the companies. That is utmost important. And also using, I mean, multiple channels and platforms, like you all know, I mean, LinkedIn, Indeed, AngelList, and tech-specific job boards. For each country, there are, I mean, definitely, I mean, good number of job boards. Those are the other areas that we need to look at. And also customize your application. So let's say, suppose, I mean, there is an opportunity in University of Hertfordshire, something in IT, a front-end developer or a back-end developer. Definitely, you should create a habit of writing a cover letter and highlighting the technical skills exclusive for that job. So not just applying the same cover letter or using the same cover letter for each and every job, definitely may not yield good result. But if at all, if you customize that cover letter according to the skill set and the position requirement, there is a high chance of getting the opportunity. And also one another important thing is following up strategy. So the moment, I mean, after applying and reaching out to the recruiter, I mean, you should be trying to connect with them, particularly on LinkedIn, so that, I mean, not just that job, I mean, if at all, if there are any jobs also in his network, definitely the recruiters or the concerned talent acquisition person might help us. So these are the, I mean, 1, 2, 3 steps, I mean, that you need to follow so that you can be successfully, I mean, cracking the jobs in IT space within no time. So what you need to be doing is, let's say, I mean, split it into weeks more. Week 1 to 2, what you should be doing is research and target the list of companies and the positions that you're going to apply. And the 3rd and 4th week, I mean, you have to customize your materials. And 5th to 8th 8th week, what you should be doing is at least a minimum of 10 relevant positions you should be able to apply. And beyond it, I mean, it's up to you. And after that, I mean, week 9 to 12, obviously it is follow-up and interviews. Obviously, it is important, I mean, you need to be stay focused. So these are the primary things so that, I mean, you can kickstart your, I mean, career in IT space. Yeah, coming back to guessing your technical interviews. So sometimes, I mean, technical interviews can feel intimidating, but with structured preparation, you can approach them with confidence. Yeah, what you should be doing. The only thing, I mean, before you actually apply for a job, what you should be doing is uh, you should be doing coding on day-to-day basis. Use lead code or hacker rank or code signal. I mean, at least to solve, I mean, 2 or 3 problems daily, focusing on the data structures and algorithms, so that your confidence in coding will be, I mean, you can exhibit them at any given point of time. And the other important thing is prepare systematic design. And the third important thing is, I mean, master your behavior thing. Use star methods and structure compelling things and all these things, particularly in this area. And coming back to preparation timelines. So I wanted to emphasize on preparation timelines as well. So for interview preparation timelines, at least 4 weeks before, you have to start, like I have mentioned, I mean, coding those things. And 2 weeks before, you should be taking mock interviews from your senior peers. And on the day of interview, you should be, you should stay calm, think aloud, and ask for any clarification questions. And this is how, I mean, you should be following so that you can definitely crack good opportunities in this IT scape quite fast. So I mean, bottom line is all the theory I have mentioned so far. So what I wanted to emphasize right now is the action plan. I wanted to highlight on the action plan. So far, whatever I have mentioned is the theory that you need to be doing. But right now, the action item, what you should be doing from day one or week one. Let's say, suppose, I mean, today it's Wednesday. If you start from next week, how you can plan and how you can, I mean, get the job, particularly entering into a good relevant opportunity. Good opportunity is much more important. So let's say, suppose you have to assess and plan. First step you should be doing in the first week, let's say Monday, is assess which company, which industry, which technology. Evaluate your skills honestly. I mean, you are the best person who knows your abilities. What kind of programming you have, what is the nature of programming, and what kind of strength you have, how you can improve those things. You have to focus on those things and set up GitHub in that specific programming area and LinkedIn profiles as well. After that, 1 week is over for assessment and planning. And after that, what you should be doing is the month plan. Complete online courses. There are a lot of areas where you can learn them online. There are a lot of certifications that you can do. There are a lot of online courses and bootcamp that you can do. And you can start your own first portfolio project. And also attending events is definitely going to an added advantage. You'll get, I mean, what industry is looking at. That should be your, I mean, first month plan. And after 3 months, once after, I mean, you complete next 3 months, apply and connect. So complete 3 to 5 projects. They're real time, even though they are, I mean, small project, ensure that you are doing that project by yourself. And submit application to target companies and schedule informational interviews. So that should be the next 3 months. And ongoing process is something from every interview, there is something that you need to learn. So whether you get the job or selected or not, obviously there is something that you are going to learn from that interview. Do not repeat that mistake, whatever it is. Okay, learn from each interview. That is utmost important, and expand your network consistently and stay current and industry and don't mm, be on the legacy side of it. I mean, in this AI era, definitely, if you are not staying, I mean, into current trends, I mean, definitely you will not be relevant and you can't be successful. It is important. You should be up to date in the market. So bottom line is, I mean, five takeaways I can say you is start with one skill area and go deep, dive into it. And building a compelling online presence, that's the second step. And the third step should be network authentically and consistently. It should not be a one-day thing. I mean, it is a continuous process. It is going to help you not just for the first job. Obviously, in order to succeed and accelerate your career, definitely that network is going to help you. And practicing technical skills deliberately is something which is going to, I mean, which is a constant thing, and you have to stay persistent. Right? You're going to face a lot of rejections. Believe me, your first interview is not going to be your first job. In the early period itself, if you get rejections, which means you're going to hit a good target quite soon. So you have to have that persistence. So one line I can tell you is your tech career starts from today. Okay, I mean, follow these steps. I mean, definitely it is going to be helpful in order to start your tech career in this space. Yeah, if at all, if you have any questions or if you want to connect with me, you can reach out to me for personal guidance on my tech career journey. I mean, I have shared my LinkedIn profile. You can connect with me, please. Yeah, I think I am done. Thank you so much for all your time. Thanks, BCS Hertfordshire, for giving an opportunity to be part of this interactive session. So if anybody have any questions, I will be happy to answer.
Thank you so much, Kiran. It's really clear and valuable insights and exactly what our early career audience needed. So, we are happy to take the questions for both for both the speakers, Paul and Kiran as well. So please, yeah, we are getting some questions. So, are there any red flags to look out for when looking at companies? So this question is for you, Kiran.
So red flags in the sense, there is no red flag because when you look at a company, whether it is a startup company or a big company, that doesn't really matter. If at all, if the company provides you a quality work, definitely, that doesn't bother. Hope I answered your question. Red flags in the sense, you need to check their portfolio and the LinkedIn profile. And also, if it is in the UK, there are certain areas where you need to look whether the company is established, proper things are followed or not. If it is in India, there are some set of things that we need to check. If it in the it is in the US, that's a different thing. So red flags in the sense, just go to the website, check them, check their LinkedIn page, if the company is genuine or not, if it is a consultancy or if it is a company, whatever it is. So these days, going through consultancy is also one another important option. There are a lot of areas.
Yeah, and one more question from Jeeta Kaur. She's asking, when following up with recruiters and hiring managers, what should you say?
I did not get that question.
When following up with recruiters and hiring managers, what should you say?
Yeah, obviously, you can ask them what are the next steps. You can ask them for honest feedback, even if it is a no. Understand where your strengths stand. According,
Yep.
are they fitting into the company's need or not? Nothing wrong in it. Recruiters definitely will help you, make you understand where you are. Let's say programming, you are good. Designing skill, you are not up to the mark. Ask them for a detailed feedback so that it will really help you for the next interviews.
And there is one more question like where to find the networking events? Like Paul mentioned earlier, We do have a lot of networking events happening in especially Hertfordshire and all over. Like we have the BCS one, and we can we have IEEE, and we can find different companies are having different conferences for the graduate people. So you can find that, let's say if you have the handshake app application, you can find different events over there. So I hope we have answered all your questions, Cheta. And the next one is from George Martin. So it is, would it be possible to have the PPT to study again later on? Yeah, we are happy. Actually, we are actually uploading this whatever the session we have done now in the YouTube. So just keep an eye on BCS Hertfordshire YouTube channel. So you will able to find it very soon. Any other questions from anyone regarding PhD or regarding the career to start the career in higher education or regarding the career to start in IT industry? So we are happy to answer all your questions. Yes, Sobre, you are we are happy to answer your question. Just please go ahead.
Hi, I would first of all want to thank Paul. He gave a systematic overview of how to get into the education industry through tech. But I would like to ask the second speaker, your ways, is it only limited to early careers people or people who are older that want to get into tech? For example, whilst this event is going on, I got a message from someone who is a vice principal. He said he wants to get into tech. He wants to kickstart his tech career. And I've assessed some of his skills. He's good with Excel and SPSS and all of that. So is this only for younger people or it is universal for everyone, whether they're young or they're old?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it is not related to only younger people. It could be for someone, I mean, who wanted to switch careers and also someone who wanted to start. The only thing is, coding is something which is important. Like you have mentioned, I mean, somebody has that Excel experience. Apart from Excel, if at all, if we can have, I mean, one more skill set like SQL or something, and some sort of programming skill is definitely important. So that, I mean, it would be easy to enter into this space. I mean, he can learn that, I mean, SQL stuff of it, I mean, which is a backend where he can write queries, which would really help entering into this space. I hope I
Yeah, thank you.
answered the question.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I must commend you. Your section was very helpful. I'm writing a book on how to start your tech career, and this section would definitely help me in some parts. So if you don't mind, I would listen to this again and try to um, gain experience from what you've said, and I put in my book.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sabri.
Nandri, thank you very much, Pallavi.
Thank you so much. Once again, thanks to both the speakers. So a big thank you to Paul and Kiran for sharing their insights, and thank you everyone who joined us today. If you are starting your tech journey or planning your next step, stay connected with BCS. We run regular events, mentoring and early career support across the region. Have a great afternoon and we hope to see you at our next session. Thank you.